Hey guys, Aaron here. Welcome back to another Retro Monday. Now today I'm going to be playing another retro classic of mine. This time it is Road Avenger for the Sega Mega CD, or the Sega CD as it was called in America. Road Avenger is a game very similar to Dragon's Lair actually. So what I mean by that is it is animated, Japanese actually, and you need to follow the on-screen pointers, whether that's pressing left, right, or brake or turbo. That pretty much is the only controls in the game. The big issue though is reaction time, and I'm going to just say this now, I'm actually going to be watching the video. I'm not playing it at the same time. I did try that, but because the reaction times are so small at certain points of the game, it didn't really work out the way I was expecting it. So, Road Avenger, yeah, it's a pretty old game. Originally was made in 1985 and it was in arcades on Laserdisc. Sega Mega CD version come out in about 92, 93, sometime around then. And it still holds up, you know. I've been playing it for a few hours, trying to capture some footage, trying to practice, especially the last level. It's very tricky, and you know what? I've had quite a lot of fun going back to it, playing through the game, and as I said, it really does hold up. So the first stage here really isn't too bad. It really gets you into the game. Reaction time isn't required as much as later in the game. You do perhaps get a second or two to press the buttons. But yeah, there is times like now when you need to press brake and turn right straight after. It really throws you off. A lot of the time it's when you press brake and then turbo it after. Yeah, I ran into a lot of issues, but the first few stages aren't so bad. And I love the fact you just like drive into hotels, cause major havoc, have everyone screaming in the background. And yeah, again, even though there is on-screen pointers, a lot of the time you can kind of figure out what to do. So like just then, or here, it does look like you're going to be turning right. So just hold down right, chances are that's the way you're going to be going. So yeah, coming up to the end of the first stage now, just a couple of turns. Pretty nice jump there. And yeah, you're just getting chased down by these guys. Now the story of Road Avenger is that you've just got married and your car gets run off the road by a gang. Your newlywed wife ends up being killed. You can actually watch the intro to the game before this, and it kind of explains it all in a weird Meatloaf kind of way. There's a singer who sounds exactly like Meatloaf. Never really could understand what he was singing about, but still, it's amusing. And yes, it's a whole big revenge story, really. You're just chasing down the gang, killing them off all one by one, and yeah, until you get to the last stage and kill off the main boss. This stage is pretty fun, really. There's a few times you need to be a bit careful. Yeah, with the turbos. A lot of the time you have to press turbo down a few times. I usually find it's easier just to hold down the button. Chances are the turbo could be used more than once. Especially if you're behind a car like that. There we go. Yeah, so they just try and bash you off the road at any opportunity, really. There's always something going on. There's like a boulder that drops in a second, and you need to press turbo straight away. Otherwise, it's game over, and then hit the wall, rebound back, on your way. Now, the graphics are a bit grainy. It's really down to the Mega CD. It just wasn't powerful enough to run full screen video. A lot of other consoles at the time, you had to buy a full motion video card or an expansion for them. And the Mega CD, it tried its best. It just really wasn't up to the task. Thankfully though, Road Avenger did well have full screen mode for its video. A lot of games, the video was a lot smaller. We're talking postage stamp size. I just remember usually joking around rather with friends over the fact the Mega CD could only do postage size video. But it's true. And even though it is pixelated, it really doesn't take much away from the game. if you are that bothered about that, you can always go and try a different version of Road Avenger. But, you know, the Mega CD version was the version I played originally, and it's the one I always go back to. It's just quite fun just loading it up, playing through the game. Even if you spend an hour or two, if you struggle near the end of it, it's generally a good way to spend an hour or two. So the highway bit, yeah, just sort of driving under lorries. Anything you can think of, really, it kind of tries to pull off. Whether it's, yeah, making makeshift ramps out of orange carts, or, yeah, just driving over lorry ramps. Job done, straight over. It's the end of... No, it's still going on, actually. Oh, the oil slick. Yeah, it's basically, as I did go earlier with this point, you kind of, in a real car, you would correct yourself. So again, in this, you do exactly the same thing. And the fact you get other people jumping on the bonnet of your cars, it's quite funny just watching them try and hang on for dear life before you fling them off. Bit of turbo, avoid the gas tanker there, and yeah, that's it. That's the end of the stage. So it did actually come out in 1985 for the arcade. Data East made it originally, and they did license it off later on in the 90s to a lot of other systems. So, and believe it or not, the actual guy who undertook the game, he went on to make the Transformers movie, or at least help out on it. And it's got 15,000 cells of animation. I'm not quite sure if that sounds impressive to you or not, but it does to me. 30 minutes of animation. Not all of it is gameplay. A lot of it is the cutscene at the beginning of the game. Also the death scenes as well. There is, as I said, one death scene that does get repeated quite often, but it does try and offer some destruction when you smash into a wall or don't make a jump. So yeah, we've got this junkyard area. Again, not too tricky to figure out. There's a couple of times when you need to be a bit careful if something's going to drop out the air, smash into you. That should, fingers crossed, be coming up any second now. There you go. Just need to brake just before you get hit as well. So it is very similar, I guess, to Mad Max, the whole revenge story. It wouldn't be the first time Japanese games have taken ideas from American culture and movies. And this bit, you need to brake as soon as you land and brake again. So many times I forget about that and end up just having to go back to the checkpoint. There we go, got some more bonus points. So back on the freeway, slightly different, lots of turbo in here. I don't really think the points matter to me much. Don't get me wrong, if they somehow displayed online in the leaderboard, that would make sense, but I don't really play for the points in this game. Never have done. It's just all about the enjoyment of playing through it. So yeah, into a park area. There's quite a lot of people you need to avoid here, especially the couple of kids that look back in amazement. And helicopters as well. How much does an operation like this really cost? They must really want me dead. And yeah, straight up into another hotel. There's not that many games really that can pull anything like this off. I guess it's down to the animation style though. Then straight out the building. Kind of reminds me of like a Terminator film, something like that anyway. Just a full-on 20-minute adrenaline rush, really. So yeah, that was the orange truck I was talking about earlier. And yeah, the end bit here, you need to just brake. And yeah, you knock him off. Nice. Another 30,000. Awesome. Yeah, so the forest level, difficulty definitely ramps up now, so it doesn't really do too much different. I mean, throughout the whole game, you're still going to be pressing left, right. So, yeah, reaction time increases. Now, I'm going to just sit back now, and I'll chime in when I think I need to. Yeah, there's a lot of jumps in this stage, actually. There are corkscrews as well, which is quite a cool little animated effect, really. Even the speedboats are trying to take you out as well. And yeah, the corkscrew ends the stage. That's another one done. And hopefully another chunk of bonus points. So the sewer stage. This is where I really started to have difficulty. Basically, a lot of it is down to how you press the brakes and turbos. So the level starts off with a lot of brakes, and it really threw me off actually. But still, it's not too bad. Nothing compared to the last stage of the game anyway. Especially when you have a brake and then a turbo straight after, like now. Unfortunately, I do find at times that your eyes are more focused on the actual either top centre or left or right. So for people watching it, I imagine it's quite a lot of fun. Maybe more so than actually playing through the game, but still, it's not bad. Yeah, it's just a case of avoiding all the incoming cars and motorbikes, things like that. And yeah, it should be coming up to the end of the stage now. Just got to make a run for the end of the tunnel. Just get out before the gate closes. Thankfully, there is a level select code that you can actually use to skip to later levels in the game. The problem I have with this is the first few levels really are quite straightforward to get through. The later ones, though, they're the ones you really want to practice on if you want to do it first time. So yeah, you get combine harvesters trying to chase you down. You're getting bikers with chains. Yeah, it's all a little crazy here. And unfortunately, I do manage to mess this bit up. It does actually let you see what the cutscene is, though, I guess, for not doing the button properly. So yeah, that is actually what you normally get when you crash. Unless it is something specific like failing to jump or failing to turn properly. It's not a good feeling though when you get this far into the game and then you make a mistake. You generally only start off with 3 lives. You can put it up to 5, I believe, which I'd recommend to everyone. There is a hard mode though, so what that actually does is, if you really are that sadistic, you can turn all of the on-screen pointers off, so it's all down to memory. Now if you did play this game for several hours, you're probably going to know exactly which direction to press. So I think I got up to level 4. That's as far as I've ever got using off-screen pointers. So yeah, just avoid the chickens here. And it's, yeah, coming up to the end, you're getting attacked by helicopters. They really do want me dead. Just do a jump off the ramp. It's pretty much just a run now to the end of the stage. Now if you could actually have a racing game like this, but without the confinement of having to press these directions to move, I would really like to see that. A really nice anime style of racing game. So that would be down to one last level now. Okay, on to the last stage of the game now. This takes place in the sea. This is where the difficulty really ramps up. The main issue though is that if you die at all, you're going to get sent right back to the beginning of the stage. And there is a checkpoint, but it's not till halfway through it. It's maybe a minute or 2 in. Whereas previous levels, if you fail, you're only going to get sent back about 10-20 seconds to the last checkpoint. So not only that, the reaction time required, you have to be instant here. As soon as the on-screen prompt comes up, you've got to mash that button, otherwise you're getting sent right back to the beginning. There's a lot of dodging in and out of traffic, pressing brakes. The dodging in and out of traffic, where you have to keep pressing left, right, that can be a bit tricky. I really recommend practicing it though, using the level select if you've got any interest in this game. But what a way to end the game. It's definitely not an easy ride. This bit always catches me out as well, pressing brake just before you hit the pole. So yeah, you're just driving through the shopping centre, trying to avoid everyone you can. And this pretty much is up to the halfway point where you get a checkpoint. So you smash into a car in a second. So that is actually the villain of the game. Let's go and track her down. So we get to change things up, jump into an ambulance now. And this bit as well, as soon as he jumps onto the bonnet, you've got to hold down turbo. Otherwise, yeah, lose a life each time. So just trying to dodge everything being thrown at you here. Which is easier said than done, really. It's more just the fact that there's a couple of times when it is left, right, left, right, left, right. And that is where if you just 1 millisecond later, game over. But that should pretty much be the end of the game now. What a way to go. So we have avenged his wife's murder, and all is right in the world again. So yeah, that's Road Avenger. I really enjoyed actually going back to it. And it is a game I do tend to go back to every few years because it is so much fun. I will have to try and check down a different version of the game just to see what the graphics do look like. In any case, I really hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you wouldn't mind, maybe give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't. Thanks for watching.